Hey, just Jay.
Hey, just Jay here, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about these ring lights that I've created. I've got a larger ring light with 60-watt bulbs, 8 of them, made out of PVC, and it has a dimmable switch built into it, as well as this smaller ring light, which is good for close-ups, and it just has an on-off switch made out of a kitchen light fixture with fluorescent lights on that, and that is I believe it's a 22 watt and a 32 watt or somewhere around there coming out of that right there. So beauty about these, the larger ring light, it's a little bit different than some of the other ones that you'll see out there in that it's made out of PVC instead of plywood, which makes it a lot more portable and a lot lighter. And another thing that makes it more portable is it breaks apart in 2 sections. There's little screws that I have where you unscrew it here and on the other side, and then it breaks down into 2 equal halves. So that's really something that's nice to have, so you don't get stuck with this huge piece of plywood with lights stuck on it to store around the house, or that you can't take it anywhere because it doesn't fit in your car. So this is a good option for that.
Okay, so a quick run through of the parts that I used. I bought one 10-foot piece of 3 1/4 inch PVC. It's what I like to use, is 3 1/4 inch. Then we got 8 of the 45-degree elbows, and then one 3 1/4 inch PVC tee. Then you need a handy box and a 600-watt dimmer to put all the wiring in. Then for the lights, we've got 8 keyless lamp holders, that's what they're called, and then I got 60-watt bulbs. They came in 3 packs, so I got 3 of those, 9 bulbs, so I've got an extra bulb. Then the stand, well, I'm counting that free since I had it with my work lights, and then just the corner iron is what they call it to mount everything. Then to make it collapsible, I bought a small bag of the steel bolts and then the wing nut, and I think it came with 4 of each. You're also going to need 2 15-foot extension cords, and that's so you get 2 male ends and 2 female ends in order to make it collapsible and to have enough for all of your wiring and to make it so it can reach to the wall without having another extension cord added. Then, of course, there's other miscellaneous screws and things that I used, tools. Glue gun's very important for this one for safety reasons. I'll explain why. And then the total came to $42.69 for everything. That's not including some of the miscellaneous parts that I just had laying around. Okay, so now it's time for some really cool graphics. Here you see this is basically what the ring light is without the keyless lamp holder things attached. So what you're going to need is each of the sides is cut to 14 inches. So you'll need 7 of those, because at the bottom here, you'll cut your PVC into 2 6-inch pieces. Because in between there, you'll put your T-joint. Now to join all the other pieces, you obviously use the 45-degree angle PVC parts. And then just dry fit everything together, and then if you want, you can either glue it all together, or I use screws, and I just screwed through the one side because I like to be able to take stuff apart and put it back together, and I find that with the glue it's kind of a permanent thing, and who knows what modifications I want to make with it later. But make sure if you do glue it, you don't glue these 2 points here, because those points are going to be where you put the bolt with the wing nut. That way it breaks apart into 2 parts right there. So you just drill all the way through on both of those and put your bolt through in the wing nut, and that way when you want, you can unscrew it and take it apart into 2 different pieces. Okay, so next you're going to mount all the lamp holders in the middle of each section, and those actually come with screws, so just drill some pilot holes and screw those in all the way around, and that will be set up. Then to the dimmer box. Now, if you don't know how to set up a dimmer, just make sure you buy the simplest dimmer that's just on and off, just super simple, not the little push 3-way weird ones that cost more. Cheapest, simplest is the easiest. And if you don't know how, Frugal Filmmaker he's got a video out there showing you how to wire one of these up. Now basically what you're going to do is use the extension cord, and it's going to go straight through the dimmer switch, but then you're also going to have another wire coming out that has just the raw wires on the end. And so this is so it goes to your first light, and then the other one splits off with the extension cord with the female end. That splits off, so then when we wire up the other end with the male adapter hanging off with the male plug, you can just plug it in and it works great. So anyway, that's basically the dimmer switch. You've got the plug with the male end that would go into the wall coming out the bottom, and then you've got the raw wire going out to the right and the female plug going to the left. Okay, now just grab the second extension cord, take the male end and cut it off like about a foot down, wire it into your first lamp on that section, then cut another piece of extension cord and wire that in. And I like to wind it around just so I don't have any flopping cables. And then there's just little screws on the back, so you strip the wires, wind it around the screws, and then tighten them down all the way up for all 4 lights on that side. And when you get to the final light, you just stop there, and then you repeat the same process on the other half of the ring. Okay, so here's the wiring for the other half coming out of the workbox there. And if you look closely, you can see I used the hot glue gun and I covered all of the metal surfaces after I've got everything wired, so there's no exposed wires. I didn't want to have the risk of electrocuting myself. And again, just stop at the 4th light, because the next point on here is the wing nut where the brake is for the sections. Okay, so here's an example. The only light I have on right now is the ring light. You can see it gives it nice, soft, even lighting. Except for, of course, my sunburn doesn't really help too much. When I zoom in, you can see there's the nice rings in my eyes. I'm sitting pretty far away from the light as well. If I were to sit closer, you get a bigger ring further out on the color of my eye. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the kitchen ones, but basically go to Lowe's or a hardware store, buy one of those kitchen lights, cut out the middle, move the parts around, tape it all up. Mine's really shoddy right now, and it's really only good for close-up shots. Ended up costing $40–50. I added a switch and then another PVC thing to hold it on a stand. So here's a close-up shot. You can see it's got a different color temperature of light, but it gives a really nice ring. But like I said, I'm like maybe a foot away from the camera, of 2 feet at the most, so you really have to be very close to the camera in order for this to actually work for you and to see the ring. So as you can see, the ring lights offer a little bit of a different look depending on what you want to do. This one puts a little bit more of a solid ring around the eye and works a lot better for really close-up shots, whereas it doesn't work well for far away shots. And the other one, you could add even more lights if you wanted, a second ring of lights with a second dimmer, or put brighter lights in to get more of the effect that you're looking for. And both of these, if you use this sort of mounting system, will mount onto this bracket just fine, just a L bracket onto the tripod just fine. But this one also fits on this old mic stand. I wouldn't put the other one on this old mic stand because I'd be afraid it would slip and slide down, where I'm not worried about it with this one. I think this is a little bit lighter than the PVC one. But yeah, so that's a little bit of the do-it-yourself ring lights. Maybe you'll get some ideas from it and do something better than I've done. Hopefully you can do something better than I've done, because I'm just starting out with this. So that's it for Hey Just Jay. We'll see you next time. Hey Just Jay.